Okay, slow down, Mac. Max, slow down.
Mac is amped already.
Yeah, well, we should be because 2019, we're here.
I thought I'd make a little theme song, you know, just
no doubt, man, no doubt, fam.
Let's see if we can all do this without lagging across the screen like 8-bit, like Atari, you know what I mean, original, because we got basically the East Coast, the West Coast, and the UK. We got our man Daz Visions of Ancient Visionz, Triple Threat 2019. I'm Ross. Welcome to the Planet X Films channel. Please like, subscribe, share. This is the Paradigm Review Show. Last time you guys caught up with us, we had a couple different films for you, but this time we got Triple Threat. Now, how long have we been waiting for this, guys? It was like 3 years, I think, or possibly 4. So the film finally came out. I saw it in theater. Mac saw it on rental video on demand. It's out now on video on demand. It's a kung fu classic, action-packed, super festival. And as Max said, you know, this is what Expendables 3 should have been instead of PG-13 failure. So I don't know. You can take from there, guys. Let me know what you want to know and how you guys want to start off. If you just want to go through a beginning breakdown or however you guys want to pop off.
Yeah, well, I just want to put this disclaimer out already, fams, that sadly I have been unable to see the movie, not for lack of trying. Tried to find a theater where they'd show it. It's sadly not released in the UK. I was even going to get it on next day delivery from Amazon on Blu-ray. Sadly, couldn't do that. However, this is a movie that, as you rightly said, Ross, we have been amped for so long. So I still want to, ask you guys questions, what you thought of the movie in various parts, which we'll get into. So I say let's jump into it, fams. I'll ask you straight off. What was the opening sequence like? Did it immediately hook you into the movie?
I'm going to say yes. Mac, do you want to start us off with that one?
I would say definitely yes, because obviously, it starts, a bit solemn, like, okay. Yeah, I mean, you already are getting to see who's starring in the movie. You're going to pretty much know what type of action is going to go down. And once that action hits, and that's the thing, that's what it starts you off. It starts you off like, with all this like crazy excitement going on, And that's what further into the film, and then you start to, watch the story unfold after. So yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. So my answer to that one is the beginning of Triple Threat is more original Predator than the Predator was, to quote our boy Caesar, who's also a co-host on the show. When Shane Black, the director of The Predator, got in his own way, like this, I had super original Predator vibes, and I know. Yeah, right off the rip, a lot of Predator is the standard of hardcore action, right? So like right off the people are going to say, oh, Predator. Now I'm not saying it's no, you're not going to have Arnie one-liners. No, you're not going to. There's just certain legendary 80s, 90s classic stuff you're not going to have clearly because it's 2019, but it's going to give you that feel. It is going to give you that feel. You know what I mean? So
you can tell they paid a lot of homage to a lot of good action flips in this.
Hell yeah!
One of the many things I like. Yeah.
So do you feel then, with that being said, Mac, that it brought something back that maybe is lacking in the current state of theatre?
I would have to say yes, because mind you, when me and VX had our reaction to it, it's basically just based off that, the nostalgia of the old 90s flicks and all, and old 80s and 90s, explosion, shoot 'em up, special effects, no CGI nonsense, just
it's not overboard. Yeah, I can't go into the detail of how much is real sets and how much is real time and real effects of what we would say like the 80s, 90s action standard, but it looks like the majority of it is, right, Mac? Like, you can't really point to any one thing and be like, oh, they went CGI crazy, like
exactly. That's that, and not to mention, like, if you really look at the camera work and the cinematography of it, you can see how they did it. You know what I mean? Like,
right.
You could get an idea of what they used. You know what I mean?
Right.
I'm just going to point out a key scene, like the explosion, that one explosion. Remember in the beginning? So, yeah, you know what I mean? Like, that could have been done with like a drone, you know what I mean? Just see like over, you know, and then that's what it felt like, you know what I mean? Like it's like using newer camera techniques for old school action, you know.
For sure. I mean, you know, a few points to go along with that. This isn't, you know, Captain Marvel. You don't have a Marvel budget for this, obviously. But I brought a friend of mine who doesn't even watch action movies.
Thank God it's not Captain Marvel.
No.
Just have to say that.
And the review is coming on our channel for that in 2000 never. But so this, I brought a friend, and she's like, oh man, the camera was sick. Like it was, you know. Anybody who, if you would have seen it in the theater, like I did it, they played it for one night. I was fortunate enough to go. If anyone else has the chance, I highly recommend you do so if you're able to find it in the theater. You know, the quality, I would say, would match anything out. You know, the way they shot it. You know, again, it's not, you know, it's not a super budget, but it's a super clean camera. And given how technical some of the, you know, as Max said there with the pyrotechnics and some of the stunts and just everything overall together of how, you know, challenging the editing would be on shooting that kind of stuff, because, you know, I've been on a set before, and it's, you know, like Gaz, you know, he's been doing this as long as us, like filming a guy sitting on his couch reading a book versus, you know what I mean, a giant shootout with 100, 200 actors, you know, you're going to have varying challenges, you know what I mean, with every element that you put into shooting a scene live action. You know, this is why so many movies have reshoots, even big budget stuff like Star Wars and all these other, you know, whatever Marvel stuff. You hear about them having issues on set and having to go back and doing tons of reshoots. That's why when you have wire work and, you know, all these pyrotechnics, you know, it's not easy, you know, and it blows a ton of your budget, you know. So
So what was the chemistry like between the stars? Because I mean, the lineup for Triple Threat is awesome. That's had us pumped for a while. We were just like, man, we've got to see this. So, how did the chemistry flow between all the action stars?
You can lead it off, Mac.
The energy, I think, was very, you could tell the chemistry was there, definitely. You know what I mean? Like, you would think, like, people, you know, someone like Scott Adkins and someone like Michael J. White, you know, two very good action stars, you know, and exactly, legendary. Just pretty much their ego, like the egos would collide, but they just seem like, you know, they're working together very well on this film, you know what I mean? Like, Michael J. White had his moments of shine. Scott Adkins had his moments of shine in there. You know,
a lot of them.
You know what I mean? Not to mention even the protagonists like Tony Jaa and Ito. So man.
Yeah. So I hope people don't find it too big of a spoiler. I mean, you'll be able to tell me, guys, it's not a plot element, but the way that if you want to call them teams, if you will, get broken up is it's Tony Jaa, Iko Uwais, and Tiger Chen, who is of Man of Tai Chi. If you guys saw that with Keanu Reeves, and apparently he's also in John Wick 3, which I found out earlier today, which, like, I don't want to bring it up because I'll crap my pants to the rest of this thinking about the trailer. But
it's constipation solving, that's for sure.
Hey, that's going to be Gaz's catchphrase for the show. But them versus Scott Adkins is the leader of the mercenary crew.
Nice.
If you don't know who he is, you're probably on the wrong channel because he's all we talk about here. Michael J. White, you know, action legend, you know, arguably, you know, one of the best American martial artists out, is awesome. And then a guy that I'm a big fan of is Michael Bisping of the UFC. Congratulations on him for just making it to the UFC Hall of Fame. He's a UFC commentator, former legendary UFC legend from the UK, and he also does action movies as well. He was in what was that movie, Triple X3, and he's in this. He's working his way up into action films. He's, you know, just doing some action stuff. Yeah, anyway, that guy's awesome. If you don't know who Bisping is, you know, check out his podcast, Believe You Me, and he's just an awesome guy. And then they have, you know, some other guys with them. Dude, the chemistry is amazing, man. I found it really good. The Tiger Chen guy, I don't know about you, Mac, he really impressed me. I didn't know much about him. I've been looking. I mean, I've seen him, but I've been looking him up more now. And he was like worthy to be with Iko and Tony, you know. So.
No, I liked him too. You know what I mean? Like, he seemed like somebody they felt like, you know, could be a new addition to, you know, the action casting of that's what's going on nowadays, you know, because now they're making a lot of movies like Tony Jaa and them. You know, he seems like a very good addition to bring in, you know. So
I'm ready to see more of him, you know. It was perfect. And even the female actress, I don't know if that was, no, it wasn't Selena Jade, the female action star. I think she's is it Michelle Wong? I think she's a Chinese action star. Awesome. So dude, I was impressed, man.
So the impression I'm getting that you both feel this was very well balanced as well. You've got a good female representation there. We've got Scott Adkins, Michael J. White, the other guys, as you've mentioned. It seems to be very well rounded, and that if you are a fan of this movie, you're literally going to be entertained from start to finish. One thing that I've been reading in other reviews is people tell me that the fight scenes are incredibly brutal. So with that being said, would this be one of the most brutal fight sequences in a movie that you've seen to date so far?
Well, if you're asking me, you guys know how deep I am into this genre. And it's just like it's just ridiculous for anyone to dive like this. So I wouldn't say it's the most brutal action scenes I've ever seen, but I will say it's some of the most brutal violence. I mean, it's on the level with some of that most hardcore stuff that we reviewed on here on the channel, which would be like, Universal Soldier 3 Regeneration, like anything involving that kind of standard. I won't say what it is, but Mac, that one grenade launcher shot, I mean, they don't cut away, they don't edit, they don't censor. You're gonna see everything. This is not your.
We're not gonna let you guys know what he did with the grenade launcher. Let's just say
it's not Daft Disney.
So the hand-to-hand, a lot of people are saying the hand-to-hand is awesome, which is there's a ton of it. I know, Matt and some people are probably on the side of it's more action than kung fu. Don't go into this expecting the Raid Redemption. You know what I mean? I wouldn't say that this is just like a non-stop hand-to-hand combat film. I don't think it's supposed to be. I think this is something closer to like a Skin Trade or something in that, which is more of a mix of like weapons and hand-to-hand. The hand-to-hand's awesome. There's a ton of it. I wouldn't say it's mostly or just hand-to-hand though, but from what I've heard, is like people are impressed. You know what I mean? So
I would say like a sort of a spiritual successor to Skin Trade or a spiritual sequel.
That's what I would say, because it's just more, you have like, however, 10 known actors are close to it. You know what I mean? So it's more of a super team,
Oh, exactly. So this is and I give it up for all of them, you know what I mean? Especially when them doing their own stunts and, at the same time trying to maintain, that acting, you know what I mean? Because you can see they all speaking like English to each other, even though they all know like different like languages and,
definitely. It's amazing. I mean, we could get into the ratings and stuff like that later. I don't know what people are talking about. This, again, with all the challenges we've said of weapons, pyrotechnics, hand-to-hand, the types of things that you can't even do this without having the talent of Atkins and a Jai White and Ja and Iko, all these legends. It's up there, man. For me, it was worth the wait because we waited a long time for it, but we waited a long time for Skin Trade too. So.
And that was dope as well. So, this is going to be an incredibly hard question to answer. So, out of all of those assembled stars, I mean, all awesome, is there any particular performance that stands out that really caught your attention?
I'll let you go first, Matt, because you might not have the same choice as me.
Wait, can you repeat that, guess? Because it kind of cut off there.
Like favorite performance.
Favorite performance.
You ever thought to the best?
Who really stood out
in the movie? I would have to say Michael J. White, man. Michael J. White, I think to me, because I mean, it's just because I don't know, like the scenes that he with him and Ito are the ones that are more entertaining because of just like how much he doesn't really like just the relationship between those two, it's so off, you know what I mean?
It's like friction, It's like
a lot of friction, a lot of static is going with these two and all that. One's telling the other back off, or the other one's like,
They both crank it up, so it's not like. But I thought Jai White's personality really came across. His character was perfect.
That too.
I'll break down a couple. Scott Adkins for me, I think, had the best performance. You know what I'm saying? Like his intro scene back. I guess he'd be like a lead villain or a lead antagonist, if you want to call him that. And he kind of goes back and forth. A lot of times he plays good guys, so you don't always. I mean, he's famous for Hector and Expendables 2. Me personally, I think that's where he shines. I think these are two of his best characters: Hector from Expendables 2 and this in Triple Threat. Just the way they introduce him, guys, in the intro scene, like he comes out looking like a madman, dude, and his character is just like one-liners galore, like talking smack to everybody. You know what I mean? You know, he has some awesome fights at the end. Of course, it's Scott Adkins, and dude, you know, he's pretty, you know, getting well known for his weapons roles now as well. You know, like I'm talking about like assault rifles and stuff like that, not blade weapons. And dude, he's awesome. Definitely Jai White. Michael Bisping impressed me a lot, given that he's up here with these legends now. He's up here with Scott Adkins, you know, Michael Jai White, Tony Jaa, and Iko, you know what I mean? And you haven't seen Bisping a lot. You know, Bisping was in, you know, Twin Peaks for 5 seconds as a security guard, you know what I'm saying? So other than like, for him to just come off the bench, and obviously he's a real fighter, he's from the UFC, but you know what I'm saying, we're talking about something different now. We're talking about an art form, you know what I mean? I thought he had a really good performance. So I'd say Adkins, Bisping, and Tiger Chen, just because I didn't know Tiger. Like, I mean, I'd seen him before, but I didn't know him like I knew Tony and Iko. So I would look out for, you know, like if you're looking for like, you know, I mean, one of these Eastern action stars, dude, this guy, Tiger Chen is gonna, my guess, probably blow up, you know what I mean? With a couple more films, so.
I think I would see him. I would like to see him in more films like these. You know what I'm saying? But he does like put out 100% of like, you know, just physical entertainment with like, you know, his kung fu. Not to mention, you know, just to see him in more like either heroic or villainous roles. You know what I mean? That could come. You know, so yeah, man. You know what I mean? Like he look like he can pull it off. Either way you look at it. So yeah,
we'll be seeing him soon.
So do you think it's set up for a sequel?
You could go back. I was about to say, yeah, I think it might set up for another. I think you can make another sequel for this one. But if not another sequel, then maybe, you know, like Skin Trade, you know, just another movie that's like another spiritual sequel and make it like some sort of trilogy where
similar cast.
Where you have a similar cast with roles now this time, you know, and
as far as the plot elements, you know, no spoilers, I would say that it doesn't seem like it's set up for a sequel, but it was so awesome that of course you would want more. But it's that type of action movie. Me personally, like I'm fine with it just being an epic one-off, but if they can do more and make it work, like that's cool too. But I think like Max said, you'd probably be able to cover more ground with having bring back maybe Tony and Iko and maybe Tiger or whoever having similar roles, and then you could, you know, add some more fresh villains, and you know, but it was sick, man. I'm like I have it at a high rating, man. So
what was the plot like? Because I've read some other reviews on Amazon when I was trying to find, you know, if I could actually get the DVD for today, so I could have actually seen it myself. And there was people commenting saying the plot isn't the best, but it's worth it just to get all of these stars together to deliver some seriously rad action sequences.
So I do have some points on that. So for me, there was a bit more plot than I was expecting. I'm not going to say that that's a bad thing, but what I was expecting based on the trailer, which like they showed you guys like laying down on the trigger, spraying and praying, blowing up buildings, and fist fighting each other for 15, 25 minutes. So you're like, that looks good, you know what I mean? But like, I was surprised, you know what I mean? It comes kind of straight into the plot, and you know, and I thought it was pretty good, man. It, you know, even that intro scenes was giving me flashbacks of Heat and so much, like Max said, of nostalgic kind of throwback homages to our favorite films. Just reading it, a hit contract is taken out on a billionaire's daughter, intent on bringing down a major crime syndicate. A down-and-out team of mercenaries was take on a group of professional assassins and stop them before they kill their target. So I hadn't really put much thought into what the plot would be when I went in. I just went in like on like some Skin Trade, you know what I mean? Raid 3, you know, whatever, just give me fire. And
like I don't think the plot assembles it by the end anyway. So
yeah, for sure.
You know, so
the only criticism I have towards the plot, and this I think could be, you know, taken with a grain of salt, is that they probably could have shaved 15 to 20 minutes of plot. Now that's just my personal opinion. There might be other people that go for plot and were like, I was following the story, that was sick. You know, if you felt that you needed the background of every situation. It's whatever, but that's my only criticism. I didn't find the plot lacking. Like, okay, it could have been better because, like Max said and everybody said, this roster of superstars.
Exactly.
Like, you know, I've seen action before. Yeah. It's not my first rodeo.
Yeah,
you know
yeah. Well, like, so, exactly. I mean, that's kind of our speciality between us all. And let's be real. If we're watching a movie like this with that amount of talent, we want to see those action sequences. It's like, yeah, the plot can be secondary as long as you give us the right sequences, full on in our face, high adrenaline bumping, and I come out there just like, man, I'm going to pass out because that was just so awesome. Yeah. That's what I want to see, and from the impression I'm getting from you both, it's certainly delivered.
But that being said, it's not bad. It's better than other action movies. It's better than other kung fu movies. I mean, let's be honest, kung fu movies really don't have
not at all.
They're on Ip Man 4 now. The last one had Mike Tyson. We all watched it. We thought it was awesome. You know what I mean? But I'm not. Did we watch it for plot or did we watch it for Ip Man to go sweep out a couple castles? You know what I mean? Yeah, so like that's the thing about it. And it's still better than other movies too. Like, it's not a bad plot. Again, it's action. So it was better than The Predator. It was better than The Last Jedi. And I'm just talking about plot. I'm not action aside, because the action blew away almost everything. It was probably almost on that level of a Sicario, on that level of, you know, all this other stuff that we watched that we were like, that was sick. You know what I mean? So,
you know, so funny with that being said, don't mean to cut you off, guys.
No, it's all right. Go on, fam.
Because it shows, like, you know, when you watch an action movie, like, are you watching it because you know it's gonna be like raw nitty gritty action, or you want to watch just computer effects all over the screen and actors that you don't know, that you know damn well they wouldn't even want to do any high flying stunts or whatever. You know, just to make it look at least half amazing and half believable. You know, and you know, see, that's my thing. Like, what type of crowd, you know, there is when, you know, when it comes to action movies and all that. And this is why, you know, why I don't understand why, you know, movies like this don't get much attention and much, you know, praise. You know, just because, you know, these actors, though it takes a long time for these action movies to be made for a reason. You know what I mean? They want to bring you the best of all the entertainment they can, their abilities. So this is why I have to give, like, I'm gonna have to jump to the score on this one. This is why I have to give a movie like this. I was debating. I had to say a 10 because. Okay, I'm gonna do the same.
Lay it down.
I gave it down to the 10 stars just because, like I said, man, they delivered. They did. I knew exactly what I would, with the actors' names alone. You know exactly what you was getting, and it delivered. I got what I paid for.
They used them right. They used them right. One spoiler, because Matt already blew it on Twitter. I know some of the fans, if you're expecting like a full Tony Jaa, Iko Uwais square off, there's a little bit of a back and forth, but not a full out unload. I know they've done some live exhibitions and stuff like that. You know, squaring off against each other live at live shows. There's a little bit of an exchange, but it's not like a full all out. They're basically on the same side in this movie. So, you know what I mean? This is, I guess we'll probably be saving that one for a next one. You know what I mean? But, I mean, if that's your big expectation for the film, which I could see how a lot of people have been waiting for that since the raid at Ong Bak, like, here's the thing about it. Like, we'll probably have to save that one for a next one because they're on the same side in this movie. And I think once you watch it, you'll totally forget that, you know, if you're waiting for something else, it totally pans out. You know, everyone that goes up against Atkins, ridiculous. Everyone, like of course, like Max said, the Jai White fight. Come on, man, it's Michael Jai White. He's one of the best of all. I can't see this movie has a 62% on the tomato meter and a 56% audience score. Definitely a bunch of libtard crafted Marvel fans, because I don't understand. This is not your PG-13 film. If you're shooting for a PG-13 and under Marvel, like Ant-Man 2, a bunch of like softy stuff. This is not your film.
PlayStation 4 and play it there.
This is not your film. I'm going to give it. I can't see giving this less than a 9.5. I'm going to give it a 10 on the IMDb rating. This Rotten Tomatoes is all wrong. It's incorrect on this. Disregard everything you see on the internet. That's a bad review. I think there's only 4 or 5 video reviews of this film up right now. I haven't checked any of them yet, but I'll go watch them after this. I'm sure most of the Kung Fu action film fans gave this a high rating. Yeah. So
And even it doesn't even matter because whatever argument they bring is invalid. So,
well, Rotten Tomatoes isn't exactly credible anymore. I know this would be a whole discussion for another kind of show, but
we'll kill them on your show.
It's no longer a credible, viable movie review site, and I've always put more faith in what regular people say than the critics. But that's just me. That's just my personal take. But I'd rather know what regular men and women think of all of these movies.
What are those? So, any closing thoughts? Since Gaz did not get to see it yet, we can come back on Ancient Visionz. We can do an in-depth.
Yeah, we'll have the DVD as well because I'll do an unboxing.
Yeah. If Matt and Caesar want to come on, it's whatever. We can do a shot list. We can break down fights. Just let us know what kind of content you want from us. Like, subscribe, share, comment. Make sure you subscribe here. Subscribe to Ancient Visionz. We'll have a ton of content. We're about to launch Planet X Games with our Twitch stream, so you'll be able to see what we're playing on there as well. Any other closing thoughts about the film or anything else, guys? Mac,
you take this one.
Yeah, only closing thought I have to say is support good action movies.
Yeah.
Support these guys. They're giving y'all the best. They put their lives on the line for this stuff.
They do.
Do it.
It's the best content out. I should have already said that. Triple Threat 2019 video on demand. You can rent it on iTunes, YouTube. Make sure you rent it. Like Gaz said, if you get a Blu-ray copy from Amazon, even better. All three of us will probably be doing it. I already bought tickets for the theater. Mac already rented it. Gaz is going to purchase it soon. The thing about Scott Adkins and some of these guys, Michael Jai White guys, is with the overwhelming amount of bootlegs from the internet, that's why we're not going to get a Ninja 3 from Scott Adkins, even though there's been talk about it. So certain franchises that we all like, they won't be continued if they continue to bootleg. I understand, sometimes if you need to watch it for a screening or review, it's understood. But a lot of times, I'll still make the purchase anyway if it's a solid Blu-ray.
It gets back to that whole point that we're all from the indie music scenes as well. Outside of indie film is support indie media because we can't happily throw away millions of dollars to hire the best studio to record an album or shoot a film. Every dollar counts for us. So if you want to see more of these kind of movies, support them. As Ross said, and Mac, we have another show called Ancient Visionz. If you want us to do any reviews on the Ancient Visionz, movies, music, indie media as a whole, whatever, hit us up. We'll do it for you. We can do unboxings. We'll be live tomorrow. So definitely tune in. Be on 5 p.m. Eastern. Be live on the Ancient Visionz YouTube channel and peep it. We've got Planet X Games coming as well. So we're getting out there, so reach out if there's anything you would like us to cover. And thanks for supporting this episode of Paradigm Reviews. Just keep it locked, PXF, y'all.
Yeah, let us know leave feedback in the comments. It seems like The Night Comes For Us did well, so if you guys want us to do Action Kung Fu, let us know. What do you want us to review? New stuff, old stuff? Ip Man 4, that's coming out next, and that's got Donnie Yen, Tony Jaa, and I think there's some other crazy cameo in that one. So, if y'all want us to stay in this lane, do this. Well, obviously me and Mac are big on action. Gaz watches everything. So, you know what I'm saying? Yeah. Like we said, check out Ancient Visionz. Subscribe to the Twitter feed, so keep it locked here. Like, comment, share, sub. Paradigm Reviews Triple Threat 2019. Make sure you support it on video on demand or purchase it however you can. And tune in next time. We're back. We'll be back.
Peace.